Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Scott here, and today I'm going to talk about why you hardly see centers in the playoffs. When looking at the 2018 NBA playoffs, some series came down to matchups. The Indiana Pacers were defeated by the Cleveland Cavaliers in 7 games, and then immediately after that, the Cavs were able to sweep the Toronto Raptors. Both the Pacers and the Raptors had plenty of talent to give the Cavs a challenge, but the Pacers were able to play the Cavs a lot better. While the Cavs overall just looked better as a whole versus the Raptors, some of their success was helped by the lack of versatility when defending LeBron James. The Pacers may not have had a LeBron James stopper on their team, but as a whole they were comfortable with switching smaller or bigger players onto him. The Raptors just didn't seem as comfortable in their defensive sets, and that primarily had to do with the center position. Jonas Valanciunas is considered a post presence and has been a good rim protector over the course of his career. What he lacks defensively, however, is the mobility to defend smaller players on the perimeter. The Cavs had Kevin Love at center for the entire series, who's a stretch 5, which means Valanciunas is unable to do his defensive work in the paint. When Valanciunas guards Love, it allows LeBron James to drive a lot more, and if Valanciunas is ever stuck guarding LeBron off a switch, it's almost no match. The Pacers have a lot more athletic players, and they had a much easier time defending on switches. Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis had enough versatility to switch on defense, and at least force LeBron to shoot over them. When those two played together, they had a good combination of inside and outside help, which made it a lot easier for them to switch onto smaller players. They're also a little bit of a mismatch themselves, as they're both able to stretch the floor, and can rebound against smaller players. This is something that the Cavs were unable to see until Game 7, when they decided to move Kevin Love down to the 4 and insert Tristan Thompson at the 5. Kevin Love has his defensive struggles just like Valanciunas does, but he especially does when he is playing the 5. When Kevin Love plays the 4, he doesn't get exposed as often because he at least has an athletic big man to back him up defensively. Tristan Thompson is also a pretty good perimeter defender when defending on switches, and that helped the Cavs win Game 7. The vitality of being able to defend smaller players is a big reason why the center position has changed. Some teams can't even play their best players late in the 4th, because they're a liability at times defensively. Hassan Whiteside only played 15 minutes per game versus the Sixers, because the Sixers had so many shooters and that caused a lot of matchup problems for them. On the other end, Joel Embiid has shown that he's a great rim protector and can move his feet pretty well, which allowed him to stay in games late. He is also extremely long, which allows him to recover a lot more if he does get beat, but even for him it can at times be difficult for him to switch onto guards. Centers now need to have that mobility and intelligence to guard smaller players, because when it comes to the playoffs, teams will always try to force them into the action. The best teams have centers that are able to stick with guards. The Rockets have Clint Capella, who moves his feet very well, and if the opposing guard gets to the rim, that plays into his hands because he's a great shot blocker. The Warriors have Kevon Looney and Draymond Green, who both have great defensive capabilities when guarding smalls. Draymond Green especially also creates space on offense, and makes it hard for opposing big men to guard him, because he is also a great passer. For a while, the Warriors played with Zaza Pachulia at center, but then decided to switch their lineup to include more athleticism, and that has helped them tremendously during these playoffs. Some teams will be looking at their rosters and wondering what they can do to become a good playoff team. The Raptors and Heat may have to move on from Valanciunas and Whiteside, because both of them can only stay on the court if they're playing against another 7-footer. A team like the Lakers, who are on the cusp of becoming a playoff team, will look to see how they can play well when the game goes small, which may result in keeping Julius Randle because of his ability to switch onto guards. Of course, it's easy to think that just playing big will force the other team to guard you in the post. However, it has become a lot harder for bigs to be productive, because modern defenses know when to double the post and rotate accordingly on defense. Karl Anthony Towns didn't have a very good playoff series against the Rockets because he was doubled and the Rockets were able to rotate to their incapable 3-point shooters. The center position may not be completely different, and there is still plenty of room for post play, but it's a lot harder to play in the playoffs if you don't have a good blend of athletic players that can switch on defense. At some point, only the best centers will be able to stay on the court, and it should be very interesting to see how this will impact free agency and how teams will construct their rosters moving forward. That's all I have for this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see more NBA content, and leave a like if you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.